Army hooah, Army hooah, I'm a hooah Army man. Now can you touch my pan? Welcome back to Strongman Personal Finance. My name is Christopher Belly. I'm a certified CPA accountant. I'm a fake boglehead investor. I'm author of the book Stop Being a Broke Loser. It's on Amazon, and I'm sponsored by SpryTech.com. If you want a pair of comfortable yet durable cargo pants, go to SpryTech.com, get yourself a pair. And I did a live review of those pants, okay? You get free shipping, that's right. You get free returns, that's right. And with coupon code VTMyET, links in the description of this video, you get 10% off 3 items. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we got to talk about Army hooah, clap your hands. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We got to talk about whether it's worth it to do 20 or more years in the Army. Now, let me preface this by saying, if you love the military and you love working for the federal government and you love, sitting around and doing nothing, the military might be the place for you. And there's also a difference between being an officer like me and an enlisted scum. I'm just kidding. But I'm going to talk and give you my perspective on whether you should do 20 years in the military. Now, there's all these benefits that go with joining the military. But I argue that you get the vast majority of all the benefits you need to be successful in life by just doing one tour in the military. However, there are other benefits. If you stay in the military for 20 years, you get a retirement check that starts the day you retire. The day you retire. You get 40% of your base salary every month for the rest of your life until you die. And you get cheap health care. Very, very cheap health care. That's a huge benefit when you retire, right? The kicker is you got to do 20 years in the military. And while that seems like it's nothing, I'll just be 42. Is that I think I just saw Rivian. Wow. Anyway, you have to do a lot of BS to get to that 20 years. And my biggest criticism of the military is that when you get out of the military, you're going to find that people are not going to want to hire you. And I know this is a controversial thing to say, but people assume that when you're in the military, you're learning job skills. And while that's true for some parts of the military, like if you're a mechanic, okay, you're learning job skills. If you're a doctor in the military, obviously you have a medical degree, okay? I'm not saying everybody that gets out of the military doesn't have a skill. But the vast majority of people in the military do not have any real, tangible, solid skills or trades that they can use to find civilian employment. So what happens is a lot of people join the military and they do one tour and they get out. And that's fine because they're still young and they have the GI Bill and they can go to college. That's exactly what I did. I was an infantry guy. I know how to fire and maneuver. Yeah, I was going to get me a civilian job. But I had the GI Bill, and I was able to use that to get a bachelor's in accounting, a master's in accounting, and then I got my CPA license because I wanted a trade, baby. But if you do 20 years in the military, you're going to be, between 38 and 42 years old, depending on whether you're an enlisted guy or an officer. And you're going to be in this weird situation where you're kind of old. You're not old, but you're definitely not a young man or woman. And you have a choice. You can either go back to school and get some kind of skill, or a lot of military guys join the federal government, okay? Now, to me, it's kind of sad because, I respect a lot of people in the military. There's some very smart people that are in the military. When you do 20 years, number one, your pension, while it's great, it's not enough money to support your family. Not in the slightest. If you have a wife and 2 or 3 kids, that pension is freaking piddly squat. And I argue that pension is literally just there to compensate you for your lack of tangible skills or trades when you get out of the military. Because really, the majority of people that get out, that do 20 years, they either work for the federal government in the same freaking job they did, or they become a contractor. Now, there's other downsides to doing 20 years in the military. Number one, you deploy a lot, and you really miss a lot of time with your family, okay? Some people may not think this is a big deal, but if you go back to the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, there were people literally deploying every other freaking year. And when you're not deployed, guess what you're doing? You get a little bit of downtime, and then you're training to deploy. So you might be at NTC, the National Training Center. You might be at JRTC, Joint Readiness Training Center, I think. I've never been to JRTC. And you're just constantly freaking gone. It's a very, very hard life, even for the very simple people. So you got to do 20 years training, deploying, train, deploy. And even though the wars are dying down, there could be another freaking war. And then there you go again. Train, deploy, train, deploy. You're constantly gone. And you want to do 20 years of that just so you can get a little retirement check? No. To me, it's not worth it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, how would you feel if you were 38 years old, right? And let's say you're an enlisted guy. You're an enlisted infantryman. And you get out of the military. And, you're getting maybe $2,000 a month in pension, maybe $2,500, taxable, by the way. And then you're like, okay, well, what am I gonna do now? What options or skills do you have? I mean, yeah, you have like leadership skills, okay, but that's a very soft skill. That's something, anybody can learn. You join an organization and you can, if you get promoted to manager, you learn management skills and potentially leadership skills. But you really don't have many options. So you've done 20 years of being a freaking grunt. And then you get out, you get this like decent pension. It's not the greatest. And then here you are. You're like, oh, what do I do? And the vast majority of them work for the government, which is like a stupid, mind-numbing, idiotic bureaucracy where I argue you don't have any skills in the freaking government either. I mean, like when I was an accountant at NASA, what are you really learning there? You're learning government accounting or a very small focused niche in government accounting. It's the same thing if you get out of the military and you take some kind of government job. So it's like, I don't know. To me, it's really sad to see all these people that, did 20 or 30 years and then they end up working at range control, on the base, or they're working at the issue facility, CIF, giving out freaking clothes and pants and screwing soldiers over. I mean, to me, it's just sad, okay? Now, if you love the military and it's your thing and you don't want to do anything else and you actually are in the military and you still love it, okay, it's not the end of the world. And if you do 30 years, you get a huge pension. You get I don't know, the rules have changed, but you get a very big chunk of your retirement. And I've seen like retired admirals or some like warrant officers that did 40 years and they're getting 100% of their pension. So you're basically set. Okay, but you have to do a lot of time in the military. The last risk of joining the military is that you get kicked out for not being promoted. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you're an officer, you have to compete for promotions. And guess what happens if you don't get promoted? You get kicked out. You're done. You could be a major, and you could do 16 years in the Army, and you're so close to your pension. Oh my God. And then your colonel, you didn't fluff me enough there, Major Bell. He doesn't give you a good rating, and you don't get selected by the promotion board twice. You get passed over twice. You're out. And now you've had 16 years in the military learning skills, and you're out, and you have to find a whole new way to sustain yourself, and you don't have a retirement check. So, personally, the military is great. You know, you get like amazing benefits, and it really did set me up for life. I got all my degrees. I got paid to go to college, and you know, I had some great experiences. But you also leave the military the vast majority of time with no skills, and even if you do 20 years, your pension isn't enough. And if you hated the military and you stayed in for 20 years just so you can get that pension, and then you need to go back to work, you're most likely going to end up as a federal employee. And if you hated the military, you're going to hate being a freaking federal employee. I can tell you that 100%. So that's just something to consider. I mean, I'm not bashing people that did 20 years. That's fine. But you need to really consider all the deployments you're going to have to go on, your lack of like tangible skills or trades in the vast majority of circumstances, and you know, the ability to get employment afterwards. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to join the military, consider doing one tour. And if you really love it, you can do 20, but know the risks. Cheers!